Hello guys, welcome back to Cardfight Bali, and this is Kevin, and we are back to our new deck profile video. Lately I've been uploading nothing but Spike Brothers, but now it's not a Spike Brothers, but a clan that is far from being a muscular man. That is Bermuda Triangle with cute girls doing cute things. Because why not? Because I really enjoy playing the Bermuda since the new booster out, the CB05 if I'm not mistaken. And props to my friend Adit to lend me his card and deck for me to do the deck profile. So the Bermuda deck that I gonna profile it today is the Pacifica deck, which is get some little support from the new booster, but after some play testing, it's been a really fun deck and it's pretty strong, where it can fight on the same ground with many as the top deck. So without further ado, we go to the deck list of the Bermuda deck. First we got here the Gravity is 9 of the Pacifica, 3 of the 10k Pacifica, 3 of the Cardfight Pacifica, and 3 of the Bricklight Pacifica. 9 of the 3 Pacifica. Each 3 I think is the best number for the Pacifica deck, because first 9 is the most balanced number for the deck, which search greatly, which search greatly like all the time. And in the Pacifica deck, we want to have 3 different names in our hand to run the deck, to run the engine of the deck. So 3 of each is the best number I could think of, because more than 9 will be overkill to the other grade, and less than 9 is probably will be too few or too small of the number. In the right priority here, you might want to write either Bricklight or the 10k Vanilla verse. If you write 10k Vanilla, you might want to aim for the Crosswrite different for 13k. And if you have the Bricklight, you might Bricklight the Crosswrite on top of the Bricklight. Then if you have the 10k Vanilla, if you have the 10k Pacifica in your hand, you may call it to the rear guard and use the Bricklight skill to bounce one of your rear guard, seize return to the hand, and put one of your Pacifica to the soul and make it a Crosswrite. And yeah, so Pacifica is basically a vanilla. We run it because we want to run the Pacifica engine in the grade 2 and grade 1 lineup. So 3 of each Pacifica. Next we go to the grade 2. Here we have the Pacifica exclusive grade 2, that is Malika. Her skill is when you bounce this card back to the hand, you may search for up to 1 Pacifica, any Pacifica, from your deck to your hand, and then you can refill 3 different Pacifica with 3 different names from your hand, and you can unflip one and counter charge. You can counter charge one and soul charge one, and choose one of your rear guard, gain plus 5,000. This card is probably the best thing about the Pacifica deck, because she's a free searcher, free counter charger, free soul charger, and free power up every time she's got bounce by refilling 3 different names of Pacifica grade 3, which is why she's really good, because he's give power, Riven cost, and thinning deck, and give out +1 advantage, which is one of the best Pacifica support we still get right here. So 4 is a must. Then we have an old card from really outset, which is the Perla. Her skill is when she attack and hit, you may soul blast one and bounce one of your rear guard. That's all. I use her because in the synchronization with the new Pacifica starter, which is when she's got bounce, she may control this one and search up to your top 7 deck, and you may add Pacifica with different name from your top deck, 7 top deck, which is really good in the early game because you let your search for the grade 3 from the early turn, and you can have like Pacifica, Perla without having any grade 3. You have a good grade 2 and grade 1 number. You write the grade 2 and you can search for your grade 3 from the top 7 deck without having any grade 3 first in your hand. From the very turn you write a grade 2 like that. Even not in the early games, it's pretty good in the mid game because she gives you an on-hit pressure with which let you bounce something that you want to keep in your hand for the further combo play. Next, for the grade 2 we have 3 Spica, which is still the best, generically is the best grade 2 for the Bermuda. She's the on boost, counter blast 1, bounce 1 of your red guard, and call 1 from hand, and it gain 3k. So with Spica you really want to bounce the Maruka, so when you Maruka attack, you attack with the Spica, get boosted, and counter blast and bounce Maruka and call something, and Maruka search for the grade 3 unflip and soul charge and give plus 5k to everywhere, which is a really good multi-attack while keeping your cost, and for free search for a grade 3 Pacifica. So Spica is still the best grade 3 in the Bermuda generically. So you must put Spica practically in every deck, every Bermuda deck, except Duo maybe. So that's all for the grade 2. Then we go to the grade 1, which we have the Unflip Perfect Guard. We use 4. I'm sorry, there's in short tech in one of the Perfect Guards, so I use this as a proxy. So basically use 4 of the counter charge Perfect Guard because there is no other better option. You want to use your counter blast a lot, and then you may take a breath by counter charging with a PG and use the counter blast for further play in the next turn. Next we have the Strider, which is Shandy. We use 4 of the Strider because in this deck you really want to keep your grade 3 in your hand for Maruka and other costs, and to keep it for your stride. So you really don't want to use the grade 3 for the stride cost. So you really want to have the strider at a maximum amount. That's 4. So 4 is a must in this deck because you want to stride consistently and possibly without using any Pacifica as a stride cost. Next we have the new grade 1 from the new booster. There is Marina. She's a really good support for Pacifica in the latest set. Her skill is when you call her and you have a Pacifica Vanguard, you may counter blast 1, you may call up to 1 Pacifica from your hand, and then choose up to 2 Pacifica, it gain 3k power, and then if you choose 2, you may draw a card. So she is basically a multi-attack in Olivia combo. She can make a 21k land. She is a free draw, which is in 1 card you may have a multi-attack enabler, power line fixer, and a free plus on top of that, which is make her a really great support of Pacifica in the new booster. So I use 4 of her because she's a pretty important combo pieces of the deck. And last for the grade 1 is the Unflipper, Soul Base, on base Soul Base 2 and Counter Charge 2. So she's a optional choice because in this deck you want to spend a lot of Counter Blast, and if you have her in hand, you might not worry about the Counter Blast and you can make a more aggressive play. So that's all for the grade 1. Maybe you're wondering, I don't use the Shizuku, grade 1 Shizuku, the searcher of the grade 3, because this deck basically search for the grade 3 almost every turn. So your Shizuku is probably almost a vanilla in this deck, because you want to search your grade 3 Pacifica by using the starter or the Maluka, and you don't really want to use the Shizuku because it take up slot and do some little reward for you to use her in a deck where you can consistently search for a grade 3. And that's for the grade 1 to grade 3 lineup. Next we get to the grade 0. First we have here 8 critical. You may want to use any critical. 5k vanilla is good because you can use it to boost your grade 3, and it get a 60k line, and then bounce into hand with your stride. Or you can I also use the duo here because her skill let you shuffle it back to the deck if it get bounced. So it help you when you are close to decking out, so you can fill your deck with a critical trigger. Although yes, it spend a counter blast, but it's a really pretty good niche in case you are really close to decking out and you want to have still some play like that. You can call the GB8 and bounce the critical to your hand, use her skill to return to the deck and have a deck with consists a lot of critical trigger. 8 critical. Then we have for the draw trigger, I use the Shushu one here, which is the Mark Gal clone. You can use the 5k if you want, but you can also use the Mark Gal clone if you want. I use draw trigger over the stand trigger like Crook, because this deck is pretty combo depend, so having a draw trigger help you a lot. Even if you only trigger it like 1 or twice, having a draw trigger is really help you to advance further in the game, especially in the mid to late game, and early game is pretty good too. And next we have the Fighter Collection Heal Sandy, which is when you use it for the G Guardian of the Big Sandy in your G zone, you may refresh grade 1 or lower and draw a card. So I use her because you want to have the hand refresher skill is pretty good, but you can also use the 5k because it can create a pretty good line before you bounce it with Olivia or the new Pacifica. So a crit, 4 draw and 4 heal, which is pretty standard amount. Next you have the starter of the Pacifica, which is when she's got bounce, you may counterblast 1 to search for up to the top 7 of your deck, and then you can add any Pacifica, 1 each for each name of the Pacifica. So you can add 1 if you're lucky, you can add 2 if you're more lucky, and if you're really lucky, you can add 3 early game with the grade 2 Perla. So you boost, you ride Perla and you attack with her. Attack hit, you may bounce her with Perla, and then you can counter blast and search for the top 7, and you can add up to 3 Pacifica. Even if you only get 1, it's already a +1. And if you don't get any, then yeah, you are probably unlucky. It's a pretty good starter. I use her over Akari because she lets you plus early, and she lets you have no grade 3 hand while you still can search for a grade 3 with the Perla if you have it in the hand. So it helps you from grade stacking the grade 3 like that. So that's all for the main deck. Next we go to the strike deck. We have here the Twinkle Pacifica, which is the old Pacifica strike. Her skill is when you can counterblast 1 and Persona Flip. bounce one of your rear guard, and then you can search for up to one Pacifica. Then if you have 3 different Pacifica in your hand, you may reveal it to your opponent, and then she get a plus critical trigger. She's a good the good option for the first strike because she can consistently search for any Pacifica for you to have to gain the advantage using the Marlika and search and thin your deck, and on top of that she gain a extra critical, which is a lot of help to help you to pressure your opponent and give him a lot of damage early on. Next, we have the Elprina. Her skill is Egg, Soul Blast 1, and you bounce 2 of your red guard. That's all. She's a pretty good first strike option other than the Twinkle Pacifica, especially when you are not having any other Pacifica, because when you use Twinkle, you really want to have her to gain the critical skill. But you can also, if you don't, you can have her gain critical. Elprina is a pretty good option too because she bounces 2 of your rear guard instead of 1. So you may, if you have like a starter and a Marluka, you can use Elprina and bounce 2 of your rear guard, and then you can use starter and the Marluka skill in the same time, which help you a lot with bouncing rather than the Pacifica only bounce 1. In the Pacifica is guaranteed search 1, but sometimes you believe in the starter again to ditch you another grade 3, and while Twinkle Pacifica costs a counter blast, Elprina is only costs a soul blast, which is a lot cheaper. And with Elprina too, you can return a lot of your rear guard, especially when you are rushing during the early game. Let's say you are rushing with the Marina, and then you are rushing with the Pacifica, and you really want to use the Marina skill once again, so you can use Elprina and bounce these 2, and then you can use the Marina skill again to give power line and draw, which is I think she's a must at 1 because it's a really good first strike option. Next, we have our forever finisher, which is the School Etoile Olivia. She's still the best, undoubtedly still the best Bermuda strike up until now. She's, when attack, you can counter blast 1, you can bounce up to 5 of your rear guard with different name, and then if you bounce 3, you may call 2, and she gain a critical on top of that, which is she's still the best strike in the Bermuda, because she's generic and really strong and enable many combo in any different deck like that. So 4 is a must. She's feel like let's say Lambros of the Aqua Force. She's a really staple and really still the best strike for the Bermuda Triangle, so you must still use 4 of her. Next, we have the new Generation Pacifica, which is her skill is when she's attacked, you may counter blast 1 and refill 3 different Pacifica name from your hand. After that, you may bounce all of your rear guard. After that, you may call any Pacifica from your hand to the field, and all of the Pacifica in your field gain plus 5k, and they can attack from back row, which is super strong, especially if your opponent already at 4 or 5 damage, and can possibly a lot stronger than Olivia, but she need a lot of Pacifica in your hand, which is make her more conditional. But if you can use her, you have a lot of Pacifica already in your hand, and you want to finish your opponent early on, you can use her instead of Olivia, because if you manage to call 5 Pacifica, she's definitely a lot of better option than the Olivia. I use her only one because you definitely probably only can use her skill once. You can use her as at the first strike, but it's not really recommended because it's take a lot of research for the turn, which is pretty bad. So I think one for late game push is the best use for her. Next here we have the generation level Angie or Angie. I don't know how to spell her name. So her skill is Act Control Dash 2. You may bounce any not real guard but card in the field that is not in the Vanguard circle, including your opponent real guard, and bounce it to your hand. And she get plus 5k for the bounced unit. If you bounce 5, you may draw a card, and if you bounce 7, she gain an additional drive check, which make it a 4 drive check. She's a pretty good, especially when you have a lot of bounce procs skill like Maruka, Marina, or the Soul Best 2, Unflip 2, like that. And you want to gain upper hand advantage by drawing a card and draft a check 4 times. She's a pretty good option. And also she's the god when you fighting a Link Joker, because she can bounce a locked unit from your field to your hand just like that. And you can pretty much screw Link Joker. And also she help you to get rid of something annoying in your opponent field like Negro Lazy and Cannoneer, or maybe the Gear Chronicles 10 trigger, which help them pump their Vanguard power in our turn. So she's a really good, really a good tech in any Bermuda deck, and I think in any Bermuda deck you want to use her at least one. Next, we get ourselves the GB8 Priscilla. Her skill is basically a stronger Olivia. After her attack, you may bounce all of your rear guard, and you may call up to 5 rear guard, and all of them gain 5k by only discarding 1 card as a cost. So if you are already at GB8, she's probably one of the best strike to go to finish the game right there. But that's only when you are already at GB8. So use them at you can use 2 if you're not confident, then you can finish your opponent with her at 1. But here we have 4 Olivia and Generation Pacifica, the new one, which is already help a lot for us to push the game. So I think one of the GB8 is already enough for you to push the game at the really late game where you already have the 7 open G unit. Next we have Seabreeze, pretty mandatory. You might want to use him especially when you want to dive check a lot and dig up your deck with and hoping for a trigger and push up your opponent with a big power early. So that's for the strike. Next we go to the G Guardian. We have 2 Sandy. She's from the Fighter Collection, which is when you use her, you may flip a G Guardian from your G zone, and then she gain plus 5k for per 2 hand, for each 2 hand in your, for each 2 card in your hand, sorry. And then after that you may control this one and give her another plus 5k shield. She is one of the best G Guardian in the Fighter Collection, the last Fighter Collection, which is on the same level as the Spike Brothers G Guardian. She can guard for a huge number, very easy, without a counter blast, and even if you still think you need more guard, you may a counter blast, and she got additional plus 5k. She's good because in Bermuda it's really easy to gain advantage big hand size, so you can easily get her into a big shield. Next we have the new G Guardian, which I believe her name is Shitron. Her skill is when used at the G as in the G guard. When you use her as guard, you may call up to one Great One or higher unit from your hand to the rail guard cycle, and she's gain plus 10k, which make her a really easy plus 10k plus 10k G guard, just like the Shadow Paladin Plotmaker Dragon. And she also enables some combo like calling Maryuka, especially when you have 2 heal, so you can bunch it with Leona later. And you can also call Marina from your hand, so if you have Vanguard with Pacifica, you may use Citron to guard, and then you call with the Citron skill, you may call Marina from your hand and use Marina's skill to counterblast 1, call up to 1 Pacifica from your hand, and then give 2 unit with Pacifica, gain plus 3k, and you may draw a card. So it's help you to gain cross right power, or even more, like 16k if you are already at cross right, or 14k, which help you to block some multi-attack combo like Gear Chronicle or Aqua Force. And last G-Guard we have the Leona, which is when you use her as guard, you may bounce a card in your rail guard. Then if you bounce a card, you have to call a card from your hand, and if the card have the same name as the one you bounce, it gain plus 5k. So I use her because if you have Marika, you might want to use her and bounce Marika, and then you can prox Marika's skill to search for up to 1 Great Tree and give your Vanguard a plus 5k power, which is help you to gain defense in your opponent's turn. But she's only good if you have Marika in your field. So I only use her as at 1 because she's more conditional than Citron, especially in the Pacifica deck. She's good in the other deck that have many on-proc bounce skill, but in Pacifica you only have Marika as a legit target, so I only use her at 1. And that's all for the Pacifica deck list. Next up we go to the standard play of the deck. So the deck is pretty fun and easy. So in the early Grade 1 ride, you really want to ride the Perla, and then you may attack, and if it hits, you may Soul Blast 1 and bounce the starter, and you may use her at Counter Blast 1 to search for your Pacifica top 7 and search at any Pacifica from the top 7, which is make a good early game and give you early ride consistency for your Grade 3 ride. After that you might want to ride the old Pacifica. If you go first, you may use her skill to Soul Charge 1, draw 1 card, and put 1 card from your hand to the bottom, which is pretty good to refresh your refresh your hand. And you also can ride the Brick Ride Pacifica instead of the 10k Pacifica. After that, you might want to have a cross ride, so you can ride Brick Ride or cross ride the Eternal Pacifica, which is the cross ride, so you can have a good 30k defense and help you regain defense in for the rest of the fight. Marina is a pretty good choice for you in rushing in early game, since when you can use her as soon as you ride a Great 3. You can use her Counter Blast 1 plus 3k and draw 1 card, which help you to gain a really great number during early game. And even if you want to use her again in the later game, you may want to strike Alprina, and bounce her back with maybe Startle or maybe the other Pacifica to fix up your line. Also, the thing with Marina is her amazing combo, especially with the Olivia. So the standard combo is you have Marluka and you have Marina, and then you have two is the minimum of the different name of your Pacifica in your hand. Then you want to have one Spica. So first you attack with Marluka, then you attack with Spica. You might let's say you have 3 counterblasts. You first attack with Marluka, then you attack with Spica, then you bounce, use Spica skill to counterblast 1 and bounce Marluka and call Marluka back. And Marluka skill, you may add 1 Pacifica from your deck to your hand, and then you may refill 3 different names to unflip 1, and you soul charge 1, and you gain 5k to anything in your field. You can give her to Marluka, or you can give her to the Spica that's still attacking. So it gain a 21k power or 70k power, which is help you to the power line. After that, you attack with the Marluka, attack for the 3rd time. Then you attack with with the Olivia, sorry. And you use Olivia skill to bounce all of your rear guard. And then call back Spica and Marina. After that, you may use again the Marluka skill to add more grade 3 Pacifica from your deck to your hand. So it's already a +2. Then you can unflip 1, soul charge 1, and give 1 unit a +5k. And after that, you can use Marina skill to counterblast 1, call 1 Pacifica from your hand to the field, and then you may choose your Vanguard attacking and also the freshly called Pacifica, and you may draw a card. So that's already a +3 with only 1 counterblast there. You add 2 Pacifica and 1 free draw from the Marina. After Olivia attacking, you may attack with here line of the Pacifica, then you attack with this line Spica, and you may use the Spica skill again to bounce your Pacifica back and call something like Marika or maybe Perla, which gain 3k, so it can hit your opponent Vanguard. So in total, it's a 7-time attack with a really good cost, and it's a +3 to your hand, which is a pretty powerful in your mid-turn. So that's the Pacifica, the Olivia combo. You can also use it with the GR Olivia, GR Pacifica, which is a pretty good too. So if you have a red gut, you can attack with Spica, use Spica skill, counterblast 1, bounce, and attack again, and attack with GR Olivia, GR Pacifica, sorry. Refill 3 different name from your hand, and then you can bounce everything in the field and call up to 5 Pacifica, bam, and then gain all +5k, and you can attack from back row, which means is more 5 attack, 16, 15, 16, 16, 16, which can really help you to defeat your opponent right in that turn. But she's more conditional than Olivia because you need to have many Pacifica in your hand. But if you already have 5 or 6 Pacifica in your hand, you might want to strike her and do some pretty powerful finishing turn. And if you already at GBX, you might want to change with the Priscilla, which is pretty much the combo with the Olivia. So yeah, that basically the combo you can make in the Pacifica deck. So far the deck is pretty fun. and it's pretty refreshing too, especially for me who plays Spike Brothers all the time. So seeing a sporty man and I change it from to seeing some cute idol, it's pretty refreshing for my eyes. So that's all for the Pacifica deck list. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helped you for any of you that want to build a deck. It's pretty fun and pretty powerful deck. So I think it's worth to try and worth to build. That's all for me, Kevin from Cardfight Bali, and thank you.